All right, so I am going to use a cookie sheet here. And you can make this really thin and have like almost chips. If you're like a chip and dip kind of person. And I'm going to use my little icing spreader here. And I'm going to spread this maybe 1/4 of an inch. Kind of thick a little bit. The last time when I did it a lot thinner. And so it was harder to roll out my sandwich wrap without it breaking or splitting in certain areas. And so that's how I know that this is good as chips. Because one of them I had like chips because it was really thin. Hopefully this is not going to be too thick. And I know it seems like a lot of hard work for a wrap. But if you're trying to be healthy and if you're trying to be healthy, then you just got to do what works. Okay, I want to make sure that I'm not seeing through to the cookie sheet. So, and guys, that blender that I'm using, I've had that for maybe 12, probably about 15 years. At least 12 years. It's been over 12 years since I've had that blender. Okay, and so I'm going to kind of edge this up a little bit, make it more even. But I'm not going to use my little spatula tool because I don't want to scratch my sheet pan here. And this is just totally, you know, playing around. You don't have to do this. But it may prevent you from having a lot of those crispy edges if everything is a little bit more uniformed. Okay, and I can see that it's a little bit thinner over here, so lay them in a little bit. And the last time I let this go for a little bit too long, so like I said, it was hard to roll it without breaking it a little bit. The edges definitely got crispier than the middle, and so I'm going to try to take this one out somewhere in between where it's kind of soft, but it still is not like sticky, not tacky, so that I'll be able to roll it a little bit better. Oh, it was rolled. It was rolled. Don't get me wrong, it was rolled, but it wasn't super pretty. Okay, so we have one out the way. And I'm going to go ahead and put that in my oven. It's on 180 degrees. One here. So it's looking like this will make about 3 or 4, maybe 3, a good 3 tortillas, if you want to call it that. That are about maybe 12 by 10 or so, give or take a couple of inches here or there. So a pretty good size wrap. And this little gadget works so well for doing this. This is a cake, like icing spatula. Since I'm not eating cake right now, then this is gonna work fine for this. And so I'll let you know if this is too thick or not. I will show you the end results, good, bad, and ugly, if there are. Okay. Let me get my, see, because those little ends right there, they will get crispy before it's finished dehydrated. So if you like crispy edges, then just leave it alone. And I don't mind it, but you know. I feel like I need a little bit more on this end over here, since it's a little bit thinner than the other end. I'll just splat that up there like a lunch lady. Here we go. Now, it's about the same thickness. And you just play around with it till you get it right. There we go. Mush down those edges. Bringing them in a little bit. And you kind of want to make it as even as you can all the way around. The thickness, that is. All the way around. So it can cook evenly. Or dehydrate evenly. Because remember, this is raw vegan. Raw vegan. All right, that's looking good. Okay. And so around it is about the same thickness as this, if you can see. So it's about maybe that thick all the way around. And it will dehydrate to probably half of that thickness right there. All right. Okay, so in the oven that one went. And so I'm going to experiment. I'm going to put one in this 13x9 pan and see. And if you can see, it's really kind of like bumpy on the bottom. So I don't know if that's going to be a good thing or a bad thing. But we're just experimenting here. And we're going to see what happens. So I can say, no, 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 don't do that. Do I want to put a whole lot on here? If we're just experimenting, I'll just do a smaller one. Since we're just experimenting. So if it doesn't go very well, then I wouldn't have messed up a lot of this mixture here. I feel like I want to be a little bit thicker. You can totally do this with your little silicone spatula if you like, or a spoon or whatever, but this just seems like it gets it a lot more even than a spatula would. Let's clean up these edges here. This is not a perfect square or rectangle. Not a perfect rectangle at all. And I'm not going to try and make it a perfect rectangle. Okay. You will soon find out that things on this channel are not always so prim and pretty. I just be getting it done. That's it. It looks a little like it's a dip right here. Let me put a little bit in that area. See, I did that with this silicone spatula and it worked out okay. All right, so I'm gonna put this one in here. Good. Okay, so I also have this seal plat. It's gently used. Can't you tell by all the burn marks on here? Gently used seal plat here. I am going to this little silicone mold. I am going to add my last little bit on here. And just do a little small one here. And so we have it in three different containers, or 3 different mediums here. Dehydrating medium. So we're going to see which one does the best here. And I have the pans that goes with this right here, but I'm not sure where it is. I'm trying to get my life together, and so I don't know where it is. It might be in my storage. We just moved here within the last 6 months, and so we're still getting things out of the storage, putting things back in the storage, you know, that kind of thing. If you move often, then you know what I'm talking about, and you know what that life is all about. And so I'm trying to get my life together. And a hint, I don't ever have my life together, so this is what it is. I just be moving and shaking, and that's it. I do what I can do, and what doesn't get done, prayerfully there's another day to do it. Try not to stress myself out. Here we go. I'm trying to get all the little tidbits off of here. There we go. Where's my little spatula here? Make it nice and smooth. And this would be like a little baby wrap. It's so small. It's like a little teeny baby wrap. I'm just playing with my food. This is what playing with your food looks like. I'm just playing with it right now. Okay, I know you guys tired of me. So let me go ahead and put this in the oven. So we have 4 wraps. 4 vegan garden wraps. All right, and get this one in the oven. So guys, I will come back and let you see how this turned out. It's probably going to take about at least maybe 5 hours. Probably, let's just say, yeah, about 5 to 8 hours for this to dehydrate, and that's a huge gap, I know. But I don't really know because I don't do this all the time. So, you know, you got to work with me. We're working through this together. We're figuring this out together. And that's okay. I'm so glad you're here for the ride. It's going to be a wild one, but it's okay. I got you. I got you, okay? So I'm going to put this in here. I'm thinking about 5 hours, possibly more, and then I'll show you the end product. Oh, and I wanted to show you the thickness. If you can see, let me see if you can see. Okay, so. Okay, guys, so I'm back. It's about maybe 2.5 hours later, and so I was checking this to see if I needed to flip it. I want to show you what's going on with it. So it is kind of sticking to this cookie sheet a little bit. So I have my cake smoother device, the icing smoother device, and I'm just trying to go around and pry it up. And so this is why you want to use some kind of seal pad or parchment paper or something to get it off, because this is not long enough to get all the way to the middle. And so I'm afraid that I'm going to break it. Because I don't have enough space to get under there. And I don't want to use a spatula to scratch up my cookie sheet. Okay, let me take this. I need to take my wrist wrap off. Hold on a minute. Okay, got my wrist wrap off. I was trying to go up under here with a spatula, and so that's why right here you can kind of see through it a little bit, because I was peeling it a little bit too much. I don't want to break this all the way up. And so I'm pretty sure that this is not going to be pretty on the other side. But I'm going to flip it over. Okay. It's not too bad. You see, I can kind of bend it, you know, a little bit. So I'm just going to plug these little pieces back in here. It is still just a little bit damp on this side. So I maybe am going to leave it in there for maybe about 20 minutes, because I don't want it to completely dry out, because around the edges are pretty brittle. They dry out a lot faster than the middle section. And so see, it left a little bit of crumbs when I was trying to do it with the spatula. It kind of ate up the back a little bit, peeled the back up a little bit, and so it's still a little bit, if you can see, when I touch it, it is still wet enough where I can lift it up off of the cookie sheet. So I'm going to let it dry out just a little bit more, and it is, you know, kind of pliable. So I could possibly just leave it out for a couple of hours and kind of let it air dry, but I am going to put it in there, like I said, for another maybe 15-20 minutes, and then I'll pull it out, because I don't want it to be completely brittle. But I did say that I was going to show you guys what was going on with this, and so this is how thin it is now. As you can see how thin it is here. So it's about half as thick as it was before. All right, so I'm going to put it in there another 15 minutes. But this is pretty much how it looks so far. So you could go ahead and use this as a wrap, and it will have, you know, a little bit of moisture to it. It's not terrible at all. It's totally usable at this state. And I may just leave it like this. I may just go and take a piece of parchment paper and put over it, and then put it in a Ziploc bag. And that way I will know for sure that it's not going to completely dry out. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to put a piece of parchment paper on it, and I am going to put it in a Ziploc bag. So I don't know if it's going to fit in one Ziploc bag. Let's see. Barely. It's going to barely fit in there. So where is my parchment paper? Here it is, right here. Because I don't want it to dry out completely. I don't want chips. Not today. Okay, so guys, this is the finished product right here. This is going to be it. This is the finished product right here, as you can see. There we go. And so we have one wrap down and 2 more to go. And this is going to dry out just a little bit more as it sits anyhow. So I'm perfectly okay with that. This is going to be good enough for me. I don't think it's going to fit in here either. I don't think it's going to fit. No, not after I wrapped it in that paper. So what I'll do is just get, we're improvising. That's what we're doing. So I'm going to get some saran wrap. And I'm just going to wrap it. Get some saran wrap and wrap it on the other side. And this is going to keep it from drying out completely here. And you see it keeps this little pouch that I've created. Air keeps getting in there to help it dry out some. And here we go. So that's it. We have one wrap down. This is like a burrito wrap. And it's pliable, it's moving around. Okay. And then the second one here. And you could probably be a lot more gentle than I am with this. And I was using the wrong side of it, so. All right. And we have the second one. Make sure I'm using the right side. And this one is a lot more wet than the other one, so I'm going to put this one back in. But I did say that you want to flip it halfway through the process. So this is more like 2/3 of the way through the process, because I'm not going to leave it in there as long as I originally said that I might leave it in there. I'm just kind of flattening it out from where I kind of dug it up by using this spatula, this tool that I'm using here. And I'm going to put this one actually back in there, because I put this one in there a little bit after I put the first one in there. So this one is not as far along as the first one. All right. Okay. So this is how it looks, guys. So you can give it a try. Leave it down in the comments. Let me know what you think about it. Right here. You see that gloss? This is more dry. Right here on this side. And a little bit more brittle. This is like the chip that I was talking about earlier. Up here is not as dry. It is. I did tear it right there. Up here is not as dry. And in the middle is definitely not as dry. So it does start drying out around the edges. If you can see the shine, it starts drying out around the edges first. And this is the other one here. And it's not ready. It's not ready at all. I want to see if it's going to come up better than... It's coming up better. It's coming up a lot better on the seal plat. I don't know if I can flip it. Let's see. Let's see if I can flip it. Let me make sure that I got it all up. Let's see if I can flip it. I feel like I'm going to break it. Bam. And it needs some more time on the other side. Okay. That's not bad. It does need some more time. And this is the one that's on the bumpy cookie sheet. And I can already tell you, I think this one's going to have a problem. But it's actually not coming up. It's not as hard. And these are also softer than the first two. So maybe that has something to do with it. It's a lot more moisture. These aren't as done as the first two. Okay, I'm going to try to flip this one. I don't feel like it's going to work. Try to go halfway through and flip. This is like art. Here we go. All right. So there we go. I said I would show you, and this is me showing you. Moves around pretty good. Okay, so I'll put these back in there. The last two, I'll put them in there for maybe another 30 minutes or so. And that's it, guys. That is it. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Have a wonderful day, night, evening, whatever time of day it is. Be blessed. See you in the next one. Bye.